Hello, and welcome to Spirit Among Us. As Christians, we often talk about being children of God. We talk about how we are now God's own children. We've been adopted into His family. But do we know what this really means? Do we know what that really means? Sometimes when we use a phrase a lot, we can sort of get used to it and think of it as something that's just normal or maybe even commonplace. But the thing is, being God's child is not something that's commonplace. It's unique. It's a true blessing and gift, and only a few actually become His children. John chapter 1 verses 11 through 13. He came to His own, and His own people did not receive Him. But to all who did receive Him, who believed in His name, He gave the right to become children of God, who were born not of blood, nor by the will of the flesh, nor by the will of man, but of God. When Jesus came down as a sacrifice, when Jesus came down to die on that cross, His own people didn't receive Him. The Israelites, the Jews, did not receive Him as king. Even though He was their king, He was the King of Israel. Despite that, He was killed by His own people. He was crucified by the same people He came to save. But to those who did receive Him and who have received Him, He gave the right to become children of God. We who know Jesus, we who have accepted Him into our lives have been given that right. We've been given the right to be adopted into God's family. And this is not our will for ourselves. This is not the will of the flesh. This isn't just something that we've come up with, but it's the will of God. It wasn't by our own will that we came to know Jesus and that we came to receive Him. But we came to know Him because it was the will of God. And now we are His chosen people. We are God's chosen children. Now maybe you don't feel like a child. Maybe you don't feel like you are God's child. Maybe you've messed up in some way and you feel too guilty to be His child. Now how can God love me? How can I be a legitimate son or daughter if I've betrayed Him in this way? How can God accept me in His family when I have messed up in all of these different ways? How can I be worthy of that? To answer that question, I want to look at Romans 3:23 and 24. For all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God, and are justified by His grace as a gift through the redemption that is in Christ Jesus. So guess what? You feel like you aren't worthy? You feel like you aren't worthy of being a child of God? The truth is, none of us are worthy. We have all fallen short of His glory. We have all sinned against God and disobeyed Him. We've all, like sheep, been led astray. Yet, we are still justified by Him. So the truth is for your life that God knows you completely. He knows every single detail of your life. He knows everything that you've done in the past. He knows everything you're doing right now, and He knows everything you're going to do in the future, including the times in the future when you will slip up again. We aren't perfect people, and we're going to mess up again in our lives, even if we don't want to, even if we want to serve God so well and follow His commands and truly live for Him. Even if we want to do that desperately, we'll still end up falling short. But God knows that. He knows every detail. He knows everything that's going to happen, and He has still chosen you. He chose you to be His child, to be adopted into His family. So no matter what you've done or what you will do in the future, Even if you don't feel worthy, know that none of us are worthy. God has given us His grace as a gift. We don't deserve it. That's the truth. But it is a gift to us. And now He has chosen us to be His children. He has chosen us to be adopted into His family. So take some time today to rest in that promise that you are one of God's chosen children. Thank you for watching, and God bless.